Alrighty, welcome back to another trade recap. Today I ended up taking one trade on the S&P 500. As you can see, I ended up getting stopped at break even. So I am up $0 on the day. So I want to run through what I was going through. Let's actually start on NQ here. Let's run through what my bias was coming into the day and what ended up actually happening. So if we look at the 15-minute here, if we take a look at the 15-minute here on NQ, this is what we looked like coming into market open, right? So we had London resting below us, we had all this generated sell side above us, but we also had buy side resting above us. Now, coming into market open, NQ ended up taking this high, ES did not. So we ended up putting in a bearish SMT at market open or in the pre-market. So if we take a look over at ES here and we scale the 15-minute, at market open, 7:30 right here, we had not taken this high yet. So we had a bearish SMT with this high. So what I wanted to see coming into market open was I actually wanted to see overall us be bullish and this be the draw on liquidity. However, I wanted to see a move lower first before going to that high. So what I wanted to see was I wanted to see market go lower, take out sell side, tap into this inefficiency, have internal manipulation, and then go higher, right? So let's play through market open. What ends up happening? We end up coming up, taking this high. So we end up taking the original draw on liquidity and putting in another bearish SMT. So ES had never taken this high, and Q did. So now we have two higher time frame bearish SMTs, this one being all the way up here. So if we continue to play through price, actually wait, hold on, yeah. So once we end up putting in this second bearish SMT, I end up moving over to ES because ES was the obvious weaker asset. And I want to look for a possible short entry because we have two bearish SMTs and we have these relative equal lows below us. So again, market goes up. We end up taking this high up here, right? So again, we end up putting in two bearish SMTs. We end up putting in two bearish SMTs. And we end up opening this first presented fair value gap on ES. So I want to see what the reaction is with this fair value gap. Because with these two bearish SMTs, I want to see a rebalance to these generated sell side, and this unfilled 4-hour below. So I let price play out, right? We end up beginning to wick the fair value gap, right? We come up. I end up marking these down close candles. And then on the very next candle, we end up getting through, running the 1 minute inefficiency. I enter short. I put my stop a little below the recent high, and I am targeting sell side, right? With my break even at this internal low. So price ends up playing out, right? We end up hitting my break even. I move my stop to break even. We end up opening this 1 minute bearish for value gap. Now, notice if we are bearish and we want to go to this low, we are going to hold this. But if we are bullish, we are going to run through it and we're going to continue to go higher. And what do we end up doing? We end up completely running this and going higher. I got stopped out at break even. So this was my one and only trade of the day. I was waiting for, if we move back over to NQ, my mouse was literally hovering over the sell button, but we end up continuing to push higher, right? Again, holding those bearish SMTs. Right here. holding those bearish S&Ps. If we scale to the 15-minute, we end up opening this unfilled 15-minute fair value gap below us. So if I scale back down, we have both bearish SMTs on the higher time frame, still holding, and I wanted to see this 1 minute fair value gap get ran through, and about here, honestly, like about here, I just ended up popping off, just because December, not great price action, and I didn't want to. I already took my one trade. I got stopped at break even. Could tell price is inefficient, so I ended up popping off. But this wouldn't have been bad when we get right here, and we completely displaced this 1 minute fair value gap. Would have put my stop here, target this low, and then it would end up playing out. But this was decent. But yeah, ended up just taking that one trade today. Completely fine with this trade. Little inversion setup again. I don't really take inversions, but this was just super clear with the two bearish SMTs. And then I knew if we were going to continue to stay bearish, we were going to flush through this low, but we ended up just being bullish, and this actually just turned into a bullish model towards this high. So completely fine with this trade. Stopped at break even, again up $0 on the day, but I am up overall on the week. But I hope you guys enjoyed this trade recap, and I will catch you in the next one.